Who made this monstrosity?
Pick the Percocet, set, icy on my neck, hit you with that check, teachers by the flex.
What's good? What's wanting? What's new? What is happening? Raw reactions here. Welcome back to the channel. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on all post notifications to be informed when I'm uploading, and help promote the channel as well. Really like the video. I would appreciate it if you guys do that. Today we are checking out another video by Kakashi. When Kakashi gave Boruto the same generational beat down that he gave Naruto. I think I remember watching a glimpse of this fight sometime in the past. But yeah, we're here to check out what Kage thinks about it. Let's go.
So boom, the scene starts off with Boruto and the other Rugrats getting ready for the final practical application exam. Majority of them are stressed out, praying that they end up making the cut. But that boy Boruto is not worried at all. He's getting that brawny treatment. His dad's Hokage, he's gonna become a ninja one way or another. And besides, why would he be stressed when these are the exam proctors? How is anybody gonna take these three seriously? We got this proctor over here built like exam proctors. How is it?
I haven't seen playback in a minute. I think just like maybe 2 weeks ago I was checking out their content just because I would like to see more content from them, to be honest. I really enjoy Agent and Low on that channel. Playback is even the only reason I know AMP. I wonder if there's anything. Maybe they're just really busy and on their own time because of what they have to individually accomplish. But I really enjoy their energy. Why did I say energy? I really enjoy seeing them together, and I hope to see more videos from them in the future.
We're gonna take these three seriously. We got this proctor over here built like Fiona from Shrek. We got this proctor over here thinking he's that guy with his arms crossed, flexing his blue apple vision.
You're not going to act like that's not Shino, but Shino being a teacher was the last thing I expected in Boruto. I've not really followed the series because for the first 100 episodes, there's nothing really interesting going on. Of course, it's the time of peace in the ninja world. There's nothing really going on, so I've not really followed it. But Shino being a teacher is very ironic because he doesn't seem like the person who likes a lot of people. He's usually on his ones. He likes keeping to himself and his own thoughts, and just, you know how you just talk once and everything. So to see him being in a teacher position to actually interact with students, that was actually quite interesting.
Goggles. Then we got Konohamaru. You're thinking he's that guy with his arms crossed, flexing his blue Apple Vision Pro goggles. Then we got Konohamaru. I mess with Konohamaru, so I'ma leave him. With this 2024 Detroit Piston third string lineup, Boruto knows this will be a piece of cake. But before he could get too happy, a figure steps out the shadows, and then we hear a familiar voice. Could it be? Is that our goat Kakashi? Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. Wait, hold on. What the hell? Y'all don't see that? Look, where is my man Sharingan? Oh, nah, I'm not rocking with this. You cannot sit up here and tell me that this does not unsettle your spirit. Now, I've seen some people say Kakashi really didn't need his Sharingan. He barely used it. He'll be fine without it. Blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I can kind of see where you're coming from.
That's a lie. Don't say he didn't rely on the Sharingan. He's literally called the copy ninja. Don't do that. I understand. He became a Jonin at 12 years, so he was going to be a great Jonin or great ninja regardless. Yes, and of course without the Sharingan being there, he doesn't have to worry about his chakra always depleting and everything. Yes, but don't act like he didn't need the Sharingan. Come on.
Was indeed an elite shinobi before he got the Sharingan. But sometimes it's deeper than that. It's about the vibes. If you got popped in your mouth and lost both your front teeth, would you say, oh, it's fine, I don't really chew with them anyways? No, you're gonna say you want them back because it looks weird. And yes, I know Madara snatched his eye out like a hungry monkey during the war, but we couldn't find a replacement. At least put the headband over it and let's pretend it's there. Damn. After making his dramatic entrance, Kakashi then starts filling them in on how the exam works. To put it short and sweet, the first person to to take the bell will be the only one who passes, and the other 3 shinobi will aid in keeping the runts from getting the bell. As soon as Boruto hears that only one person is gonna be able to pass, his energy quickly shifts from happy to pissed off. So now he's ready to get serious. Kakashi then tells them to make sure they come at him with the intent to kill, and that was all Boruto's cocky ass needed to hear. Because before Kakashi could even finish counting down, this man Boruto jumps in the air and throws 4 kunais at his chest. Kakashi falls back, but as soon as he hits the ground, we see that he used a substitution jutsu before the kunais even touched him. Boruto, completely stunned as if he actually expected that move to work, looks to his right and sees Kakashi walking off into the forest. But before he vanishes, he leaves Boruto with some parting words. Like father, like son. And that right there was enough to get Boruto's blood boiling. He takes off running to hopefully catch up to Kakashi, but before he could find it, big man...
Also, let me say this about Boruto. I like the fact that in as much as he's Naruto's son and looks exactly like Naruto, there are contrasting characteristics in terms of their personality and jutsus. Naruto was dumb as fuck. He was. Boruto is intelligent. Boruto might be. Okay, I can't say he might be Minato level. I can't say he might get there eventually. But as far as starting out as a child prodigy, in terms of intelligence, she's like Minato in that sense. Also, the fact that Naruto could spawn multiple shadow clones by the time he was 13, in contrast to this is like the creators who are balancing out Boruto from Naruto. Like have striking good features, but let's not make it too perfect. So in as much as Naruto could make multiple clones, Boruto could only do 4. What else? Boruto's Rasengan too is incomplete, but he invented a new way of using it. The Rasengan vanishes and then reappears. Okay, so I just like the different contrast as far as the whole father and son dynamic goes, in as much as they look exactly the same. And of course, there is the Naruto wanted to be Hokage all his whole life, whereas Boruto, whose father is Hokage, he hates the title of Hokage and wants nothing to do with it because he feels Naruto doesn't have enough time for the family, and especially the fact that Naruto keeps disappointing Himawari in terms of prioritizing his work as the Hokage, sometimes over being with his family. At least that's how Boruto frames it. But yeah, that's an interesting contrast, compare and contrast between the two.
Konohamaru pulls up on him and his squad. The rest of them didn't want the smoke, so they disperse, but Boruto charges right towards him. He immediately hits him with a kick, which Konohamaru blocks. Then they start throwing them hands for a little bit. Boruto blocks a punch from Konohamaru, then weaves this uppercut. He tries to catch him off guard with a punch of his own, but Konohamaru catches it. So he counters with a swift kick to the face, but somehow Konohamaru evades that attack too. Boruto goes in for a few more punches, but this man Konohamaru blocks and catches every single blow. He then tosses Boruto and starts talking that junk, talking about some I'll show you what real power looks like. Konohamaru, stop it. We did not forget about that beatdown Naruto gave you. I know you're older, but that beatdown was a turtle. As much as
don't do that. Do not do that. Do not do that because the difference in skill was there. Come on now. Come on. Also, something that just pops into my head. Imagine if Hiruzen and Minato were alive and they were both watching the fight. For every punch Naruto threw, Minato would have had to be apologizing. Bro, that would have been an interesting thing. Even if that would have actually been interesting to see. Even if they brought it in one of the stories of one of the Hidden Leaf characters that was trapped in the Tsukuyomi, that would have low-key have been interesting to see.
Konohamaru wanted to
but don't do that. The difference, the skill level between Naruto and Konohamaru, come on now. Naruto had already learned Sagi mode and he was already the hero of the village. Konohamaru was damn near he was still a chunin. No, he was even a genin at that point. That was a chunin exams. So don't do that. Come on.
running the ones, it was not gonna happen today. Because mid-somersault, this nigga remembers that fighting Konohamaru is like completing a useless side quest. You're not gonna get anything but some XP. So he gets up and skedaddles on out of it. Boruto can't find Kakashi anywhere, so he decides that his best bet is to search for him at a high vantage point. He finally reaches the top of this giant tree and begins to search for Kakashi. But his search didn't last very long, because before he could even look around, we hear Kakashi say, searching from a high vantage point isn't a bad idea. Boruto quickly turns around to face Kakashi, but this man Kakashi is already airborne, ready to kick the air out of Boruto's chest. Kakashi comes crashing down on Boruto, sending him flying off the branch, but it turned out to just be a shadow clone. Before Kakashi could even scope out where the real Boruto is, he comes rushing from behind, reaching out for his cheeks. But Kakashi does not play that way, so he quickly...
Bro, pause, bro. Double cheek top.
He comes rushing from behind, reaching out for his cheeks. But Kakashi does not play that way, so he quickly flipped out the way before Boruto could get a squeeze. Now Kakashi and Boruto are face to face, on the ground, ready to duke it out to the death. Alright, not to the death, but they ready to throw hands for sure. Boruto then boots up 3 shadow clones and charges at Kakashi, but in the most annoyed way possible. Kakashi looks up and says, "Shadow clones, huh? Naruto teach you that?" But to my dismay, Boruto responds by saying, "You think I'd ask him for anything? You disrespectful little shit. What do you mean, do you think I'd ask him for anything? He's the most powerful shinobi in the league, and he's your dad. This little boy is too damn cocky. I just wanna grab him by his head and beat the fact that he'll never be Naruto into his thick skull." And I'm 100% sure Kakashi feels the same way. Boruto and his shadow clones then charge at Kakashi, but I know he just sees a bunch of walking doubles. This is free eats right here. Kakashi is pushing 50. He's...
Bro, Loki, Loki, I'm hungry, and saying that is making me get even more hungry, even hungrier. Jesus Christ, I don't feel English. I understand where he comes from in terms of how could you be so disrespectful, and I'm sure a lot of fans felt that way in that moment. It's like, are you mad? See, why are you talking to me? Because yeah, you're his son, but he's still our goat. I'm sure that's how a lot of fans felt.
Dad, this little boy is too damn cocky. I just wanna grab him by his head and beat the fact that he'll never be Naruto into his thick skull. And I'm 100% sure Kakashi feels the same way. Boruto and his shadow clones then charge at Kakashi, but I know he just sees a bunch of walking doubles. This is free eats right here. Kakashi is pushing 50. He's seen some things. This is not gonna work. He grabs the first shadow clone by his head and flings him like a ragdoll. Boruto then comes in with the kick, so Kakashi jumps out the way. But that must have been part of Boruto's plan, because one of his shadow clones quickly jumps on his back and 2 more shadow clones grab onto his legs. And that is when we see the real Boruto come flying in to high-five Kakashi in his chest bowl. Kakashi refuses to get clapped by this Naruto knockoff, so he quickly substitutes himself with one of Boruto. Kakashi refuses to get clapped by this Naruto.
Alright, 2 whiskers as opposed to 3. Naruto's blue eyes are... The blue part of Naruto's eyes are smaller than Boruto's. What else? The chin is different. Clearly the hair.
So he quickly substitutes himself with one of Boruto's clones. Kakashi then proceeds to further antagonize the poser by saying,
"You and your father really are so similar."
And of course, Boruto replies in the most disgusted manner, yelling,
Oh, Kakashi's playing mind games with him at this point because he knows what triggers him.
Disgusted manner, yelling, "No, we're not!" As he proceeds to rip a page out of Naruto's notebook by bum rushing Kakashi with more shadow clones. This nigga wants to be different so bad. You came out of the man's ballsack. It is okay to have similarities. One of the shadow clones then flips over him and hits him with a double hit combo, but Kakashi doesn't even flinch. He then gets hit with a barrage of clone kicks, but that also did not a damn thing. Before Kakashi goes on offense and turns this man into a smoothie, he decides to give Boruto his flowers by saying that he's a real genius. And instead of humbly taking the compliment, he says, so you finally get it, huh? Oh my days. Someone please humble this nigga, he too cocky. Look at him smiling while wiping his nose. You not slime, Young Thug don't know you. Thankfully, Kakashi quickly drags his ego back down to earth by saying,
"You still aren't suited to become a ninja. I say that because you lack a decisive element."
Now, as much as I agree with what Kakashi was saying, this close-up shot of his face threw me all the way off. Please never put the camera that close to to this man's face again unless a scarlet red eyeball is in the frame. Cause this is disgusting. Me having to look at this Sharingan man over and over again. I'ma need y'all to come up off that like and subscribe right now. Yeah, sir. Hey, we trying to hit that lucky number 70 before the end of summer, so help a brother out, please and thank you. Or listen to any sort of criticism, so he quickly cuts off Kakashi by whipping out a kunai and charging right at him. He jumps up and begins to activate his wind-style Gale Palm Jutsu. Then his two shadow clones launch him right at Kakashi. Kakashi's not getting done up that easy, so he hits a clean matrix dodge to avoid getting his eyes sliced open again by a kunai. But all of a sudden, the Boruto floating above him disappears and we see a hand shoot out the ground to grab the bell. Kakashi for some reason gets sent tumbling across the ground, kicking up a bunch of dirt in the process. But when the dirt clears, we see that it was just a log. So Boruto quickly opens his hand to check and see if it was actually a bell he grabbed, but of course it turned out to be a leaf. Then out of nowhere, a bunch of leaves just start to fall, and Kakashi starts speaking down to him, talking about some.
You really did almost get the bell.
Why that man sound like he talking to him from the afterlife? Got the whole afterlife echo and everything. Nigga, you're not Master Oogway. And if that wasn't Oogway enough, Kakashi proceeds to grab Boruto's ankles and slam him to the ground. Then he reveals himself through a bunch of leaves. Now he's out here spitting more knowledge, except this time he's doing it with his whole foot on the back of his neck, pressing his face into the ground. Now call me sensitive, but this the type of junk that would make me turn evil. Under no circumstances is it necessary to sit on someone you consider a comrade like this. You know what? Actually, I lied. I almost forgot about how annoying and overly confident this apple bang having ass boy is for real. So on second thought, go ahead and eat that dirt, little nigga. Kakashi continues to talk that junk, basically telling Boruto that he doesn't have what it takes. He does not have the passion. He does not have the aggression. There is no mindset. He even pushes Boruto to break his arm in order to break free if he's really like that. But of course, he is not. And you see, that right there is the difference between him and his dad. Naruto would have dislocated that shoulder 5 times just to win. But not this generation. They're too soft. Of course, he don't got enough resolve. He's living too good. I know Mama Hinata cooks you up a nice hot meal every night in that nice loving home. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. But just know, you and Naruto are not built the same. You know what Naruto was eating for dinner some nights? Sleep. You don't know nothing about that. Kakashi then grips the back.
Let me also say this. In as much as I feel Boruto as an anime was doing too much in terms of power scaling, like introducing Ishiki, who was Kaguya's superior, and introducing the remaining Otsutsukis, I think that was too quick. But in as much as I will fault them on that, in as much as I will fault them for things like that, I like how I didn't like it at first. There was a period where Sasuke and Boruto went back into the past to stop Momoshiki, that fish road carrying Otsutsuki, from stealing the 9-tail from Naruto. I didn't like the whole going back to the past. I didn't like the whole messing with time thing because it didn't feel right for Boruto. That was more of a Dragon Ball type thing. But hey, it's not my anime. In as much as I didn't like that, I appreciated the fact that Boruto got a glimpse of what Naruto had to go through. And I like how that glimpse really shocked him. And I also liked how he saw how Naruto dealt with it by being his jovial self and aiming for Hokage. I just really, really appreciate that scene. I also like how that was after Sasuke had left the village. And Sasuke got a glimpse to see what Naruto during that time was facing in terms of dealing with that. It's something I appreciate, in as much as I didn't agree with the whole messing with time thing. So yeah, let's go on.
Night's sleep. You don't know nothing about that. Kakashi then grips the back of his head, ready to finish him off, but right before he could get off his final jutsu, Orochimaru's test tube baby throws a kunai at Kakashi's head, which Kakashi catches. Then he quickly tries to strike him with his snake lightning jutsu, but Kakashi counters it with his purple lightning just in time. We then see the ground try to eat him up, but Kakashi jumps out the way. Test tube baby then runs straight at Kakashi again, but he swats him away just in time. And before he knows it, all of them have officially retreated, giving Kakashi the W. Well, for now. This Boruto show, of course he was gonna get the W in the end. Overall, a pretty satisfying fight. Watching Kakashi humble Boruto just like he used to do to Naruto was very pleasing. Overconfidence aside, Boruto did give us slivers of proof to show that he is a talented shinobi. And as for the rest of these runts, I don't have nothing to say. Their mere existence gets me hot.
W video, man. As far as the other getting go, another thing I do not like about Boruto is trying to cosplay slash remake the original Genin. It was a whole cosplay that was like, whoa, like who wrote this? So as far as the other Genins go, I don't like that. I like the fact that Shikamaru and Temari gave birth to Shikadai. I like the fact that Shikadai, he can do shadow jutsus, and he also wants to learn wind. Well, from one video I saw randomly, I guess he's learned it now as far as the manga goes because they are teenagers. But I like how he wanted to learn wind technique from his mom. I like the fact that Ino and Sai's kid, I've forgotten his name. I like how he can do both Sai's signature moves and Ino's mind transfer move. I also wonder which clan he identifies more with. Is he? Well, he's most likely going to be Inu's clan since Sai is basically a nameless bastard. Who else? Choji marrying that random Rain Village babe. The same way people were going to be angry if Hinata didn't end up with Naruto or if Sasuke didn't end up with Sakura. If Ino didn't end up with Sai. Sorry, if Shikamaru didn't end up with Temari, people are going to be like, what is this? Also, you could see Ino and Sai's because Sai eventually became Ino's replacement for Sasuke in her mind. But there was no way you could see Choji and that would have been. Thank you guys for tuning in this far into the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on all post notifications. Like the video, like the video, like the video, like the video. It's really gonna help a lot with the channel. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace. I have to go eat now. I'm very hungry.
The Percocet sets. I see you on my neck. Get you with that check. We just bout to flex. Pick the Percocet sets. I see you on my neck.